So I don't think that's a valid question anymore. I think these names of these websites that we have on the slide should answer your question in greater detail than I can ever give. Also, just to give a little figure of how many websites are there, in 2013, 350 million new websites were added on the web, right? And we are talking about new domain names, not Facebook websites, not other ancillary forms of web presence, but serious full domain websites. The other thing is being effective necessary? I mean, I have a website, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है कैसा website है? You know, do I really need a very good website? Is being rich necessary? Is being beautiful necessary? We all make efforts to be rich, to be beautiful every day. So there are 250 million websites already, and we are talking about 2013 figures, and it is growing at a much faster rate than ever before. So if you add 1 to 250 million, what difference does it make, right? If you have just a website, you're just one more in half a quarter or 250 million, right? So you can add your drop to the ocean and then wonder where is my pani. Most websites are built half-heartedly, and I dare to say this because I run a web design company. Most of the time people have very kind of unorganized game plan for the investment they make in the website. We will see this in greater detail in the subsequent slides. Most people awake, or they start taking their website very seriously only after the first order or the first inquiry they get from their website. And then what do? Like all Indians do, they overdo it, right? So ek baar inquiry aayegi, then people will debate whether they should spend 10,000 on a website. The moment they receive the first inquiry, they want to go ahead and spend 5 lakh rupees on it, right? Both approaches are wrong. You do not need 5 lakhs, and you probably should not have a budget of a 10,000 bucks for the website. How do we measure the effectiveness of a website? This is a very important parameter, and the one you should ask yourself before you start investing in the website. I mean, what are you expecting? That has to be somewhere in the written format, maybe logged somewhere in a cupboard, but it has to be very clear what do you expect out of your website. Now, in summary, for the subsequent slides that we are going to discuss, these are some of the elements that we are going to discuss in a little greater detail, and pros, cons, and hidden points about each of these items. One is domain name, website hosting, web designing, whether it should be mobile responsive or no, dynamic and backend processing that some of the websites would require, and SEO, Google AdWords, and social media. In short, digital marketing for all three. So let's first start with a domain name. Domain name has to be appropriate, which reflects the content of the website. So I've just given some punch, name of the boss.com is not the right approach. You should have a proper domain name. Again, pratham.com should be avoided even if it is available. You should have prathambooks.com if you're trying to sell books online. That will give you better search engine ranking. Not just that, but people know without visiting the website what to expect on that website. You can have pratham.com also redirected to the same website, but your primary domain name has to reflect certain kind of qualities. Unless, of course, if you are tata.com, then it doesn't matter, because one, Tata is a brand name, two, they sell everything. So you can't have Tata जैम की बॉटल का ढक्कन सेट arjuntanktak.com, because they sell everything. Conglomerate is different story, but for startups, if you have a very focused domain name, it goes a long way. reduces the burden of clarifying a lot of things and pursuing a lot of people to come and visit you. When you have a shop in the market versus a shop in, say, a mall, you have a guarantee of certain footfalls, right? If I have a shop in an in-orbit mall, from the statistics, I already know that certain amount of people are going to definitely visit the first floor, the second floor, the third floor of the mall. So I kind of have a guarantee of how many people are going to come to the doorstep at least. Whether they will enter the shop or no is a different story, but I at least have some statistics. In the virtual world, there is no guarantee. I mean, your site might be hosted next to tata.com, but you might have 0 visitors unless you take proper efforts. So there is no footfall guarantee. That is why digital marketing plan is a very big necessity. Again, there are several domain names. Now earlier the domain extensions were very limited, .com, .in, .org, etc., etc. Very recently, because of the changes in ICANN policy, you are going to see all sorts of funny names. Some I would not even dare to speak on the dais here. Absolutely crazy domain names have come up. They are available. You can even start your own registry if you have a little money and marketing power. So I can start .kishore domain extensions of my own and start selling them in the market if I have a certain money and certain inclination to do it, and if I see there is a market for it. So you're going to see all sorts of funny domain names which you have never heard, never imagined very soon. So this is an argument of whether to go in for a .in or a .com. I would say despite of so many extensions available in the market, there is nothing that compares to .com as of today. Absolutely nothing comes even close to it. So no matter what extension you go for, you should have an equivalent .com with you for your website. That is a good strategy as of now. Things can change later, but as of today, despite of release of so many funny domain names, the value of com is actually going up rather than going down. And it's not the cost of the domain. The domains don't cost anything. It's the value. That means the pratham.com and pratham.gujaratibooks.com, both are going to cost you the same, but both have a very different value when it comes to marketing it, when it comes to people perceiving what is inside that website. And there is another small point. Most people trust their web providers. For example, our company, people book a domain name, but they don't care about on what name is that domain, right? They trust their provider, which is good when terms are okay, right? Which is good till the service provider is ethical and in business. But more than half of Baroda's domain names, I mean, I'm saying half very conservatively, are not in the names of their owners. They are in the names of their web presence providers, which can become a big legal problem later on. So if you have a domain name, you should make sure that the who is and the ownership details are with you and they reflect your ownership. There are not much quality issues with domains, so we quickly move on to web hosting. Now, there are a lot of myths in the market about whether to go for a Linux hosting or to go for a Windows hosting. Some people think Linux is more secure as compared to Windows. I would definitely beg to differ on that. I have statistics that supports my theory on what is more hackable. There are websites like zonedge.org, for example, which keep track of what is being hacked on daily basis. So if you visit that website, it will tell you what has been hacked in the last 24 hours. And if you see the statistics, you will quickly figure out there are more Linux domain name hostings being hacked on daily basis as compared to Windows hosting. Anyway, let's focus on not just security, because it's a very deep subject that can last forever almost. There are a lot of myths. So how should you decide on what platform you should host? The decision is very simple. Do not decide. That's not your decision. That is the decision of the provider. So if your provider is going to design a website in PHP, and if he is more comfortable with Linux, let him do it his way, right? It's not a non-technical or an emotional decision. Your participation there is, sorry to say, unwelcomed. Myths about location impacting the speed and SEO ranking. Again, I've heard tons of rumors about if your website is actually hosted in India, you will get better SEO ranking, better ranking in Google, or it'll open faster. Again, there are a lot of technical arguments, and I am sure there is nowhere Google has ever mentioned that they will give you better ranking if you are located here or there. The simple argument to this is, up until 2010, 80 to 85% of the websites hosted all over the world were actually physically located in US because of the infrastructural reasons, right? So how can somebody like Google come up with a policy of giving better ranking to somebody else who is not located in that cluster? It doesn't make any sense. The very reason why we invented this virtual world was to kill the distance. How can we make distance as a factor now, right? It could invite a lot of lawsuits if Google starts doing that, if you think rationally. So those are all myths. And location of your website, whether it is within your hosted within your office, whether it is hosted in India or whether it is hosted outside India, does not largely impact speed. It does, but there are counter arguments that nullify that advantage. Security is another aspect for hosting. Again, as I said, security is not user domain. Security is not what the user has to debate about. You have to find a correct provider and entrust your website security onto your provider. It is not something which users should try and control or have a very preconceived notion or something that they have heard over a cocktail party to be taken seriously. Many times we have designed a website for a client, and when we ask that whether they have hosting, they say they already have hosting. And when the whole process of designing is complete, we've designed the website in ASP.NET, and when we ask that, okay, we are ready for hosting the website, please give us your hosting details, they give us Linux hosting details, right? So we cannot host the site. So this is one reason why I'm advocating that this is not a user domain. It is your provider's advice that should count more than what somebody in the cocktail party said. Service factor. Whether you should host your website with a small provider who would give you personalized attention versus with some very giant company which is going to provide you very industrial level kind of service as opposed to a personalized service. This factor is important for you. This is where users have to think. If you are a growing company and if you need consultancy, if you need advice, then you should go for a smaller company where they can take you more seriously as a customer, right? You are not one of a million clients, and they can look at your website and advise you on certain items. Then you should go for a smaller company. Otherwise, you can go for an industrial strength, big hosting provider where you do not need personalized service. So you can save some cost versus not get personalized attention if you don't need it. There is a new technology called CDP, that is continuous data protection technology. Backup of a website is very critical, very critical, and it is getting critical more and more. If you ask me a question, if the owner of an airline, a CEO of an airline would have a sleepless night if one of his aircraft is down, I would say if he has a fleet of 25 aircraft, if one of the aircraft is down, he would have a sound sleep. He's still going to go to the party which was scheduled for today evening. But if his website is down, the party gets cancelled for sure, right? Because website is more important than a single aircraft for him. The website closes, the bookings for all the aircrafts go down, right? So Continuous data protection is a very new technology. You should ask for it if you have a very critical website. Of course, it will add to some cost, but it is an amazing technology. Just to be a little technical, when you want to take a backup of a database driven website, you need to shut off the database first. Only then you can successfully take the backup of the database. So what happens is, there is a small downtime, and based on the frequency of the backup you have more downtimes. CDP is a technology which can let you take backup on the fly. That means without shutting down the database, right, on a continuous basis while the site is running, which will prevent those smaller scheduled downtimes despite of you having the choice of frequency of backup. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end of it, but at the end of any slide, if you have a question that pops up, please free to barge in, right? Design. Now design is a little more tricky because there is role to be played by the user. Unlike the earlier slides, domain very little role to be played by the user, hosting very little role to be played by the user. They are more service provider areas. Design is one area where there is a lot of role to be played by the user. That is why it is very tricky. Website design is perhaps the perfect combination of art and engineering. Yeah, it is engineering for the service provider and it is art for the user. Customer contribution is needed in the engineering part, not in the design part. This is the most common mistake, and I must have traveled at least 25 countries, and I can absolutely assure you this is a global problem, not an India problem. Every time the user wants to get a website design, he wants to poke his nose into red color चाहिए, blue color चाहिए, इधर circle चाहिए, इधर square चाहिए, इधर से ये हटा दो, इसको पीछे रख दो, इसको आगे ले आओ, which are actually not the areas where the user input is required. Somebody from fine arts who's wrecked his brain into what sells better, what looks better, how it functions better, how the audience that you are trying to capture is going to be more engaged, right? Somebody who's done that for years, learned that over years, is designing a website, and you, the user, perhaps having very little qualification or experience in terms of design, want to govern the process of how it should look. Whereas when you ask them कि data lao, about us का एक paragraph lao, that never comes. And this is a global problem. This is, I mean, I'm sure some of you are laughing. I can see that the smile and the sparkle on the face, because it might have happened to you, or you might have experienced such an incident. Don't feel ashamed about it. It is a global problem. That is the good news. But the bad news is that is a problem, and your input in terms of design is to be minimalistic, is to be in terms of the grand idea, right? It's like when you want to build a building, you invite an architect to do the job. You don't tell him which color. You tell him I like lighter colors, right? You tell him I want the rustic feeling in the furniture. You don't tell him ye wala table, because if you tell him ye wala table, what is the architect doing there? Why are you paying him in the first place? That's his job. Yes, there is a job for you to do in terms of design. You have to convey your